today's world, places are supposed to be accessible. People move freely around the country they live in and even between countries. However, there are places in the world that, even today, are strictly off-limits to just about everyone. In today's charts we will explore 10 such places around the world that no one has access to. From islands inhabited by people who have no contact with the outside world to super-secret military installations and everything in between. These 10 places are spread across the planet that many people consider so easy to travel to. But, these places clearly demonstrate that there are still secrets to be had, by governments and by individuals. Most of the places on this list are only accessible to those with the proper clearances, but some are not accessible to anyone at all. Regardless of the status of the places on this list, if you are reading about these places, you absolutely do not have the proper access to visit them. The tantalizing status of the unknown and the secret makes these 10 places remarkable. You will probably have your own theories about what goes on at some of these locations, and you may not have ever heard of some of the other places. If you like such a content then, why don't you subscribe to the channel? It's completely free and you will get interesting and amusing videos every week. And now, are you ready to find out what is this places and why they are so secret? Number 10. North Sentinel Island, India, an untouched and ancient civilization. North Sentinel Island has been inhabited for about 60,000 years by a tribe of people that have had virtually no contact with the rest of the world in that period of time. Because of the fact that this tribe has had so little contact with other people, the Indian government has decreed that no one may visit the island for fear of a couple of things. First of all, these people have no immunity to diseases from off the island. In the 1800s, some researchers kidnapped people from North Sentinel Island to study them. And the people promptly died of disease. The second reason is because the Indian government wants to keep this tribe untouched. There is so little known about the people of North Sentinel Island because it is nearly impossible to study them. The fact that they have survived 60,000 years without being disturbed by the outside world is remarkable. And the government wants to keep it like that. There are very few people in the world that have no contact with the outside world. The people of North Sentinel Island are one such group. Therefore, it is not permissible for anyone to visit the island for fear of destroying this ancient civilization. Number 9. North Brother Island, United States of America. Are they hiding something here? North Brother Island is home to Riverside Hospital, or what is left of the hospital. The state of New York purchased the island in 1885 in order to build the hospital. Riverside Hospital was built in order to house extremely contagious people with diseases like typhus, tuberculosis, yellow fever and smallpox. During World War II, the hospital was used to house military veterans. After that, was used to house heroin addicts. However, it is now closed, abandoned, and falling apart. Due to the storied history of the hospital, no one is allowed to visit North Brother Island. Despite the ban on visits, many people have tried to get onto the island to visit the former hospital. The history of the hospital, including its most famous guest, Typhoid Mary, makes for a huge draw for history buffs and ghost hunters from all over the world. Even if you were brave enough to spend a night at Riverside Hospital, the state of New York absolutely forbids anyone from visiting the island. There are a number of theories that exist about why no one is allowed on the island. Is the island haunted? Are there still people in parts of the hospital? We may never know why Riverside Hospital and North Brother Island are permanently closed to the public. Number 8. Disney Club 33, United States of America. Mickey himself probably isn't even allowed in. Disney is a pretty neat place to go to. But there is a place at Disney that is so neat, only a select few will ever get to see it. Disney Club 33 is the most exclusive place at Disney and happens to be the only place in the park where they serve alcohol. This club was originally designed by Walt Disney himself as a place for him to go to relax and entertain business associates. Unfortunately, Mr. Disney passed away before the club officially opened. However, the club did open and remains open for those exclusive enough to get in. Disney Club 33 is an invitation-only club, so you need to know someone who is already in the club in order to get an invitation to join. Once you are invited to join this exclusive club, you will need to shell out about $100,000 to get in. And once you are in the club, the annual dues will run you $30,000 a year to maintain your membership. If you are lucky enough to get into Disney Club 33, then you will join a select few Disney fans who have the right connections and the right bank accounts to be in the most exclusive part of Disney. Sure beats the Mickey Mouse Club. Number 7. CocaCola Vault, United States of America. The secret recipe you wish you thought of. What do you think the most carefully guarded secret in the world is? If you guess the secret to the Coca-Cola recipe, then you are correct. The recipe for Coca-Cola is stored in a special vault in Atlanta, Georgia. Visitors to the Coca-Cola can take a tour of a museum outside of the vault and even see the door. But, absolutely no one is allowed inside. The secret to the recipe for Coca-Cola has been kept for over 125 years, and it will likely continue to be kept. With the intense security that surrounds the vault, and the design itself, there is very little likelihood that anyone will get inside. Your money in the bank vault is probably less secure than the Coca-Cola vault. How does that make you feel about the security of your bank? Coca-Cola's recipe is the secret to their success as a company, so they obviously do not want anyone to know the recipe. That is why they have the vault and the secrecy. At least they do offer visitors the opportunity to see the vault and tour the museum. But absolutely no one will see the inside of the vault. Number 6. Menwith Hill Royal Air Force Station, United Kingdom. With greatly limited access, comes great conspiracy theories. In 1954, the British War Office purchased 550 acres and leased them to the United States. And Menwith Hill Royal Air Force Station was created. This is by far the most secretive piece of land in all of the United Kingdom, and no one knows for sure what goes on in this military installation. What is known about the base is that it was originally used for spying and intelligence gathering during the Cold War. Today, only echelon spies and the NSA can enter the base. Because of the secrecy, there have been a large number of protests leading to politicians calling for more transparency about what goes on at Menwith Hill Royal Air Force Station. Military installations have existed all over the world for hundreds of years. However, the difference between sites like Menwith Hill Royal Air Force Station and sites a century ago is the level of secrecy and access that today's military bases have. Because of the secrecy associated with today's military installations, there is very limited access to these locations. And with limited access comes conspiracy theories. Just what goes on at Menwith Hill Royal Air Force Station? We will probably never know, and the secrecy makes for an intriguing picture about the spy world and the secrecy of military bases in the UK and the US. Oops, we are already in the middle. If you enjoying this video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks. Number 5. Woomera Test Range, Australia. A closed-off area bigger than the country of Portugal. Woomera Test Range is the largest land-based test firing range in the world. It is 122,000 square kilometers, 47,100 square miles, larger than the area of Portugal. You may ask, what could go on at a military test firing range that is larger than an entire country? The Woomera Test Range is used by Australia and its allies for testing weapons and war games. That means that the site is used for dropping bombs, firing missiles, and generally blowing things up. All of this means that visitors are strictly prohibited from visiting the site or setting foot on the range, evidently for good reason. With constant bombardment, it is extremely dangerous for anyone to be on the Woomera Test Range, especially civilian visitors. For an area the size of a country to be restricted is pretty difficult. But the Australian military does a good job of keeping the area secure and people off the grounds. But the questions remain, What exactly goes on at the Woomera test range? Is such a large area really necessary for military test drills? Or is there something more sinister about this Australian bombing range? There are, after all, many places in the world that are restricted due to danger of military exercises, and most of those are not the size of this Australian location. Number 4. Poveglia, Italy. I get the shivers just thinking about it. There are a number of rumors and theories surrounding the history of Poveglia, but it is hard to tell what is true and what is not. The only thing that is certain is that visitors are not permitted on the island, and for good reason. Because, if any of the other theories are true, no one would want to visit Poveglia. The island was used to house plague victims in the late 18th century. Those people died, and that has led to the belief that half of the surface of the island is made up of human remains. Later, Napoleon used the island as a weapons cache, because it is so small and difficult to find. However, his enemies did find the island, and there was a bloody battle at the site. In the early 20th century, a mental hospital was opened on site, which was closed about 40 years later. All of this history has led to the belief that the island is haunted. With human remains all over the island and massive Napoleonic battles taking place, the island of Poveglia certainly has seen more than its fair share of deaths. Plus, mental hospitals always lead to stories of ghosts and haunting. Number 3. Snake Island, Brazil. Even if you could visit, you'd be running away as quick as possible. Located about 90 miles off the São Paulo, Brazil coast, Snake Island has the highest concentration of venomous snakes in the world. The island is home to the golden lancehead viper, and about 2,000 to 4,000 of these highly venomous snakes live here. That means that there is an estimated 1 to 5 snakes every 10 square feet. Unfortunately, while this is one of the most venomous snakes in the world, it is also one of the most endangered, so there is no going onto the island to clear them out to make way for people. But all it would take is one bite from just one of these snakes to kill a human in about an hour. And that is why Snake Island is forbidden for people to visit. Now, obviously, people have visited the island, but they are mostly scientists and researchers who are trained in how to deal with the snakes. And why would you want to go to an island filled with snakes anyway? Even if you like snakes, there are just so many on this island that it will make your skin crawl because the ground is crawling with super venomous killer snakes. Snake Island may sound like a cool place for a villain to have their lair, but even the most evil of villain would be pretty crazy to try and visit, much less stay on this island. Number 2. Fort Knox, United States of America. The heaviest security in the world. Fort Knox is probably the most protected place in the world. This is the bullion depository of the United States, where literal tons of precious metals are stored in the largest and most secure vault in the world. No one knows for sure the protections that encircle the vault. Some believe there are even landmines in place to keep intruders and would-be thieves out. It is known what the vault building itself is made of. There are 4,200 cubic yards of concrete in the vault, 16,000 cubic feet of granite, and 750 tons of reinforced steel. But what exactly is stored at Fort Knox? Well, for starters, it is not just precious metals. Although over 2% of the world's mined metals are stored here, there is a lot more that remains hidden from the rest of the world. This includes one of the copies of Magna Carta and previously included the Royal Crown of Hungary during the Cold War. Despite speculation about what is and is not in Fort Knox and the bullion repository or thoughts about what is protecting the treasure, this place is still the most guarded vault in the world. No one knows for sure exactly what is inside, and no one can get in to find out. Number 1. Area 51, United States of America. Wouldn't you like to know? Everyone has heard of the secret U.S. military base known as Area 51, but no one knows for sure what is there. And the U.S. military wants to keep it that way. There are definitely plenty of rumors about just what goes on here, some of which include aliens and UFOs. But one thing is for sure, whatever goes on at Area 51, you will never be allowed to visit. This secret military installation northwest of Las Vegas, Nevada has no official fence or anything to keep people out. However, there are a number of signs surrounding the perimeter. And those signs authorize deadly force for anyone caught snooping around. It is rumored that there are sensors surrounding the base that can differentiate between animals and people, so that animals may cross freely into the space that people are strictly prohibited from visiting. Even the airspace over the installation is restricted, with the only aircraft allowed to fly over being those that left the base. The allure of Area 51 is the fact that no one knows for sure what goes on in the middle of the desert. The theories that surround the military installation make for some pretty wild tales, but the truth is often crazier than the theory. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If not, don't tell anyone. But if you like to support the channel, share this video with your friends on social networks and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.